Hi, I'm Kristy from Noble Properties, and today I want to introduce you to a local. As you may remember, I used to do a few videos just to introduce people to local businesses, and I actually met Upasana recently, who told me about her new business that she's just set up. Upasana is a local business owner who we're going to have a chat to today, and she can tell you all about the business, which I think will benefit so many parents out there. Hi, Upasana.
Hi, thank you.
No worries. So Upasana's business, you are a paediatrician and has started a brand new business that will be and is already so helpful to parents that are struggling out there. There's a big gap in the market that you noticed. So tell me a little bit about the business.
Like you said, I'm a paediatrician and I work privately as well as in public hospitals. Majority of my practice is around behavior and development in children, I noticed that I was getting a lot of referrals from GPs for children who were having behavioral difficulties at home and at school. And when I actually assessed those families, I found a big number of children who really didn't have any developmental diagnosis, so to say, but were still struggling. And so that got me thinking as to what is it that can be offered to these families. Like if I as a pediatrician say to a family that your child does not have this, this and this, then the next question is, then what is the problem and how do we look into it? So that's what got me thinking, and I went and did some extra training in some parenting programs, one of which is called Circle of Security, which is basically an attachment-based program that helps parents develop a secure attachment with their children. So that's how my journey into parenting started. And I've been running these programs for now 3 or 4 years, but I was offering this only as an extension of my practice. Initially started off with offering only for my own patients or families that I was looking after. But now, I've partnered up with another like-minded clinical psychologist, Narelle Dickinson, who is also exceptionally, she's very talented in the field that she's in. She's passionate about what she does, and we share like common goals.
So what is the goal?
So the goal is, the goal is primarily to support parents.
Because it is a lot of the time about supporting the parents.
Exactly.
So that they can then support the children.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And so my goal through parenting success is to offer support to parents.
Okay.
Anybody who's ever been a parent will agree.
Sorry, madam.
Anybody who's ever been a parent will agree that parenting is the toughest job in the world. Of all the things that I do, I think being a parent is the toughest and the most draining.
100%.
But also the most rewarding.
Yes.
There's nothing more, there's nothing more rewarding and satisfying than seeing your child doing well, or just just spending time with your children and just giving them the message that you like hanging out with them.
Yeah, I agree. People don't do that enough.
Exactly. Yeah. That can be very powerful. Yeah. And we all talk about how we talk about giving our children the best. So we want to pick the best school for them, we want to take them to the best holidays, we want to buy the best things for them. The day you conceive, you're already start planning where will which obstetrician will I see, where will I go for my delivery. But I think what happens sometimes is that we forget to give our children the best of ourselves.
They want to see you. They don't want to see mummy earning the money at work and coming home late at night. They want to see mummy.
They want to see the mummy who's happy with them.
Yeah.
And what happens now is that all parents are working. Not all, rather, I'd say most parents are working. And when we get home, including myself, when we get home at 7 o'clock at night, we don't have much to offer to anybody, leave alone children.
Well, I remember my when I was doing many hours at the beginning of my career, and the kids would say, "Mum, we don't see you. You're earning the money, but we don't see you." And that really hit a. Oh God, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
I felt terrible.
Yeah.
But okay, so how will the parents who don't know they need to see you recognize that they may need to see you?
Yeah. So, so in Parenting Success, we are offering a variety of programs. So,
Okay.
Circle of Security is just one of them. So, Circle of Security is basically an attachment-based program that was designed for parents who have children less than 5 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about how we can understand our children, how we can identify what their needs are,
Mm-hmm.
and how we can fulfill those needs.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that if we do these things, we will develop a secure attachment with our children.
Mm-hmm.
What secure attachment really means is that you have a child who's confident to go out and explore the world. You have a child who knows when to ask for help.
Mm.
You have a child who can apologize if he realizes.
Really? Wow.
Yes, that's the whole idea. We want to
Yeah.
provide those skills in
Yeah.
childhood so that when they grow older, they can
Mhm.
make the right decisions for themselves,
Mhm.
for the right reasons, you know.
Okay.
And so that's just one of the programs. We also have a program called Tuning into Kids, which is for the older children over 5 years of age, and then there's Tuning into Teens.
Mhm.
So these are the three programs that we're offering at the moment, but we're also looking at maybe providing small workshops for parents for very specific needs. For example, if we have a parent who's looking at learning skills to help their child with say social skills,
Mhm.
or emotional regulation, or organization, or time management, whatever
Yeah.
that may be.
Yeah.
So we can do those small snippets that they can, just come, attend for a couple of hours and go home.
Okay. Yeah,
Whereas the
that's good.
workshop is a little bit of a commitment for a few weeks.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a few different options depending on what you need for your own children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody's having behavioural issues with their children, or if they may or may not have had their child diagnosed with autism or ADHD.
Yeah.
Often that's a real struggle, and often finding a good paediatrician is a real struggle. I know that we did with our youngest, finding the right therapist and paediatrician, but I didn't have the support that what you're talking about with my boy, and we didn't realise that we needed that support. We didn't know, and I wish I'd met you then, because you would have honestly, you would have really been able to help.
Yeah.
Because you're teaching, or you're bringing up. For example, I've got two teenagers now, and you're bringing them both up the same, and you're wondering why your parenting skills are not necessarily working as such as they did with the other child. And it's because you need to parent differently with a child with autism and ADHD, and there's certain signs to look for.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're a parent that has a child that you're not quite sure, maybe that would be a good reason to reach out, because you can diagnose. Or
Certainly. So I think the thing is that irrespective of whether children have a diagnosis or not, every child is going to be different, and chances are every child needs to be parented differently.
True.
And the process of understanding your child and understanding how you need to parent that child is also a learning curve for a parent. And the problem is that parenting doesn't come with a manual. There is no definite right or wrong.
Yeah.
The best we can do is give the best of ourselves to our children, isn't it? And that's what we want to offer to parents. We want to let them know that there is help there. There is, there is well-researched programs out there that can help parents have the knowledge to handle difficult situations at home. We work on knowledge, and we also work on skill building.
Right.
The other unique thing about parenting is that if you were to not pause and think and reflect, you will automatically parent the way you have been parented, because you know no better.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that is why, if we have a family that's had, say, trauma of some kind, and the child has not had a secure attachment with their parent, chances are that reflexly and automatically the same thing will be transmitted to the next generation.
Yeah.
And so in order to break that, we need to talk about these things firstly, and we need to make these workshops and this knowledge available to people freely, and it needs to be made common knowledge.
Yeah.
I feel like these programs were designed initially just as therapeutic interventions. For example, Circle of Security per se was designed initially for mothers who had postnatal depression, anxiety, and were struggling to attach to their children.
Right.
but the fundamentals of the program will benefit any parent. So when I did the training in the program, I was a pediatrician for over 15 years.
Right.
And even I learned so much more, and the way I have been parenting my child since then has been very different.
Yeah, wow. And I suppose some people will need, support and help individually, and other people might benefit from the classes or from the master classes, and maybe talking to other parents and getting advice.
That's good.
Obviously, you're going to give the advice, your team, but parents individually and what their stories and their things they're going through might be really helpful.
Yes, it's really nice to see the groups. So I've been running groups of about 8 to 12 parents, and it's really nice to see how parents open up and talk about, you know, what kind of difficulties they're having. And very often we have parents giving advice to each other.
Yeah.
And that is why I always say that in these workshops, the success of the workshops depends a lot on the richness of the discussion we have.
Yeah.
And when you see other parents in the same boat, it just, you know, I think just knowing that there are so many more parents struggling the same way that you are,
you don't feel
it's,
like
it's therapeutic in itself.
Yeah. At home when you're alone and you feel like screaming in the middle of the room. I've done that a few times. Just knowing that you're not alone.
You're not the only one.
You're not the only one. Yeah. And having people that you can maybe share numbers and share.
It has come up in the past. I have had sessions where people have connected so well and wanted to stay in touch, and they've made WhatsApp groups, and that has happened in the past. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, I think we've answered. I haven't even had to ask you many questions. I think you've pretty much answered most things. Is there anything else? Is there a main message you want to sort of put out there to parents, to who might want to reach out to you?
I guess firstly I want to just I want people to know that there are parenting workshops, there are programs that are designed for parents to help their children. And parenting is a hard job, irrespective of whether your child has a diagnosis, doesn't have a diagnosis. I think just being available emotionally to a child all the time is just really, really hard. So to be able to strike that balance, we need help. And if I feel like if any parent needs help, they should be aware that there are programs that can help them. And I see, I just want to say out there that if I, as somebody who's been working in this field, could learn so much more from the program, then I'm sure anybody who does the program will go back with some really important messages, and which is what the feedback has been so far. Those people who have attended the programs have found it really useful.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's so important, and like I say, I wish I'd known about this sort of thing, because we didn't until our youngest was 10 years old. So, all right, so how do people contact you?
So we have a website, our business is called Parenting Success, and we have a website that you can go onto the website, and we advertise on our social media, so please feel free to go and like our page on Instagram or Facebook. And when we advertise our programs, they're all mentioned on the website as well as the socials. So if you want to just book in online, you can do that, or there's a phone number you can call if you want more information as to which program would be best suited for you. If you even want to sort of just have a chat with someone to guide you whether seeing the GP is the best option, or whether going to a pediatrician would be better, or whether you'd like to just attend some workshops and do the basic things that you can at your level before, getting into a pediatrician is hard as well.
It is.
Then please feel free to call up, and we'll give some advice and guidance around that.
Okay, well, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for that. That was really nice to have a chat.
Thank you.
Make all the mums and dads and anybody else aware of what options are out there. So yeah, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you for having me.
No worries.